Hello, my lovely ladies and handsome gents. Welcome to Talk to the Head Reviews. I'm Beau, the reviews lady, and I'm so excited about what I'm going to talk about today. Well, I've seen a lot of fragrance YouTubers talking about their top 10 for life, you know, their favorite fragrances. And I thought, well, for me, what I realized is since I've been collecting fragrances, I've been collecting fragrances for most of my life, but since I've had this channel and I've had, you know, a legitimate excuse to spend money on fragrances, whereas normally I wouldn't have quite as many, I realized in all of this that my favorites still are my very favorites. That hasn't changed. And so that's what I thought I wanted to share with you guys. What are my, even after all these years, what are my top favorite fragrances still? And so here we go. By the way, I want you to write your top fragrances below, your top 3, but that are still your favorites from as long, for a long time, as long back as you can remember. That, you know, you still are like, no, that's it for me. Okay, for this first one, this is number 6. Anyway, so it's Oscar de la Renta original, and in my opinion, it still smells the same. This is the EDT, and I really hated to put it as number 6 because it's really just, it means a lot more to me because I worked for Oscar de la Renta as a promotional rep in the 90s, and it was my mom's favorite fragrance, and for the first time, I was able to give my mom everything in the line. It was quite expensive for us. It was just my mom and I, but you know, that Oscar de la Renta was a very special fragrance. It's just this bold, feminine floral, and I do remember getting a lot of compliments from a lot of different people on it when I used to wear it when I worked for Oscar. So Oscar de la Renta original, just gosh, my number 6 top my lifetime, still after all these years. Okay, my next favorite, my number 5 favorite of my lifetime, one that was around when I was working in cosmetics and fragrance, and I fell in love with it then, and I've wanted another bottle of it for such a long time, and I don't even remember ever having a bottle of it. I think maybe it was somewhere that I worked that I sprayed it on a lot, but it was just one I just didn't invest in. But oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's Calandre by Paco Rabanne. This is just, to me, sophistication, silver, like it looks, classy. This is just like, this reminds me of like Orange County in Southern California, down like Balboa Beach, and just or the nightclubs down there, like, yeah, well, they used to be anyways. There were nightclubs down there that I used to go to when I was younger, and some of these places, this just reminds me of, like, you know, shopping at South Coast Plaza, which is like an upscale mall in Orange County, and it's got like some fresh citruses, but you know what it really is like? It's a lot like what Chanel No. 5 used to smell like to me before they changed their formula from the old cologne that my mom used to have. This is kind of what it reminds me of. But Calandre by Paco Rabanne, another one of my favorites for life. Another one I sold behind the counter, Tea Rose from Perfumer's Workshop. This is a stunning fresh rose. A lot, it's like kind of lemony. It's lemony and crisp. It smells a lot like Jo Malone red roses, almost exactly. It's a very crisp, fresh type of rose. It's not the kind of rose, like, for instance, if you've ever tried at the Body Shop they have one called British Rose. And that's beautiful, but this is just crisp and alive and happy. This is not like funeral roses. This is, you know, roses sent to you to your office on your birthday, you know, to your desk, and you just, oh, they're just stunning. Tea rose, like tea roses in a garden. One of my top favorites of my life. And my third favorite, I only recently got this, and I hadn't smelled it since I sold, well, I probably smelled it since, but I sold it and I loved it, but I never had a bottle. But it is absolutely just, to me, it is, It is Fracas from Robert Piguet. This is a super classic. It is not particularly affordable these days. You definitely have to pay a couple bucks for it. But this one is, I'm glad it's still around. It is just a sumptuous tuberose gardenia. It is the tuberose gardenia. A lot of people say it's similar to Madonna's Truth or Dare. So if you've ever tried that, but it is just, I don't know why a lot of people say it's loud. I find it soft, but it's just a gorgeous tuberose gardenia. So yeah, Fracas, one of my very favorites for my life. My favorites after all these years. Getting to number 2. Did you write down below what at least like one of your lifetime favorites is? I would appreciate it. And don't you want to play the game? Don't you want to play along? Come on now. I know a lot of you want to, and you have your favorites. You know what they are, and you're just dying to write them. And you're just dying to write them down below. Now, aren't you? Okay, here's the next one. Lifetime favorite, Bleue from Guerlain. Just the quintessential feminine, beautiful, powdery, white floral fragrance. And I told the story in another video recently about how I first learned of this fragrance, but it's all right. I don't need to tell the same story in every video. I find that I tell a lot of the same stories more than once. Anyways, Bleue from Guerlain. We're getting up to number 1. We are now at number 1. Now this one, I sold it behind the counter in the late 80s, and the company was very generous to us. They gave us a lot of bottles, and so consequently, I was able to carry a big bottle in my purse all the time. And this fragrance is so fresh. It's like I've always described it as, it is soapy, but it's like soap. It's like if you just stepped out of the shower at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. That's the way that I describe this, because it feels so high end. And when I was young, I was so busy. I was always running from thing to thing to thing. And I loved having this fresh, classy fragrance in my purse to just spray on as much as I wanted to. And I am just amazed that after all these years, it's still around and it still smells the way I remember it. But back then it was more expensive. Again, you could only get it behind the counter from me or somebody else, you know, who sold it behind. But you had to get these things. There was no Sephora back then. You had to get these things directly from the specific distributors, which, like, these department stores were the only ones allowed to do that. But now everything has changed. And I don't know really exactly why this fragrance is more affordable now than it used to be, but it is still my number 1 favorite, I gotta say. It is Reviens from Worth. I'll be back. I'll be back. This is the most feminine. It is just it's a clear-headed, soapy, fresh fragrance. I think that it actually is carnation heavy, but I don't remember what's in it. But it is still my number 1 favorite. Reviens from Worth. Oh wait, there's more. Okay, those are my favorites, but these I want to mention. This is Versace Blonde. Versace Blonde. This is discontinued, and my husband bought me this as a special gift, It's hard to find, and it's expensive now. And this smells almost exactly like Fracas. So this would be my favorite, if not if this were still available, this would be my favorite in the Fracas place. They're kind of the same thing, really, except this is slightly more floral. Fracas is slightly more green, but they're just about identical. So I had to give an honorable mention to Versace Blonde. I didn't spray it. I spray it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is just, oh, it's just the most high-end, beautiful tuberose gardenia thing. It's gorgeous. Honorable mention, Chanel number 5. Chanel number 5 is really, really at the top of my favorites. But the old formulation, I believe, that was cologne that my mom had, if I'd have known that that was never going to be available, I would have like sought it out back then. I mean, if I could have. But the formulation of the eau de toilettes, even the newer colognes of number 5, this is Wild Parfumé, which is a perfumed body, refreshing body mist. This is old, but this also has that smell of the newer formulation. This is the first perfume that made me very ill. I got it as a gift long ago, and I went out to dinner and I got really sick from it that night. But I thought it was like my mom's. It was given to me as a gift, and then I went out that night and I sprayed it all over, and I didn't realize that it wasn't my mom's Chanel number 5 anymore. So that's the thing. Chanel number 5, it would be at the top up there, but it's not the same anymore, and that's okay. I move on to other stuff. I mean, you know, but it's a nice memory. Chanel number 5. And some other honorable mentions that have been around forever that I love still. Joy by Jean Patou. This one is just, at one time, was the most expensive fragrance in the world. I read recently that the perfumer wanted this to smell like all the flowers all at once, and that is what I believe it really smells like. All the flowers of spring, and really spring mainly. Like, it reminds me of daffodils, it reminds me of tulips, even though most tulips don't have much fragrance, but it reminds me of lily of the valley. It reminds me of just the freshness of spring, and also like green grasses coming up, and maybe even some earth. It's got a slightly indole, in the same way that sometimes, you know, fresh flowers you smell like daisies smell out in the world. But Joy, oh, still one of my favorites. Another one that I sold long ago, and I just recently was able to get a hold of a 30 ml size, because the 50 ml size starts at $130 now, and I love it so much. But I just wanted a reminder. I just wanted a memory of it. L'air du Temps by Nina Ricci. Oh, this is the most gorgeous feminine frilly dress, like a Laura Ashley type of dress. Just a beautiful feminine, you know, but it is quite old. I believe it's from the 70s. So, you know, a lot of people associate it with some older person. So, but I don't think this smells old at all. I don't think this smells old fashioned. I do think it smells gorgeous. It is just it's like a peppery yellow floral. That's, I mean, I don't remember what's in it, but yeah. L'air du Temps from Nina Ricci. It's also in my top favorites, but it's not in my top 6. And the last one, I cannot get away from this one and how much I love it. And it is one from back in the day that I sold behind the counter. And it's got a funny name. I don't love the name. It would be great if it were called just something else. But the fragrance itself is so beautiful, like feminine. It could be considered a little bit grandma, but I don't care. I love it. It is White Shoulders by Evian. Oh, it's like honey and honeysuckles. Honey and honeysuckle. Something like that, you know. Just beautiful pink femininity. Like, oh. White Shoulders, honorable mention. So my lovely ladies and handsome gents, these are fragrances that have been favorites for me almost my entire life. And they still are up there, even with all the new fragrances I've gotten to know and all of the beautiful fragrances I own that I love that are new favorites. They don't bump these guys. So I thought that I'd share that with you, and please feel free to share that with me also. And if you're watching this and you're interested in doing this kind of video, I'd love to see what you come up with, you know? So thanks so much, and I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you get up from this video and go walk and do something fun. Anyways, see you next time. Let's have a